odds of another January 6th event, it doesn't seem to be that the chances of that happening don't seem to be too high. I don't want to speak too soon, but as far as we've seen, okay, as far as what I've seen thus far, there is not enough momentum surrounding Donald Trump. There isn't. Partially because there is not a lot of astroturfing surrounding Donald Trump. The Republican Party, or at least like the apparatus, the party apparatus that normally would lend support to Donald Trump, like the Turning Point USAs or the American Enterprise Institute, the ALECs of the world, when they all get together, they have virtually unlimited funds. And a big chunk of the protests that you see revolve around these AstroTurf protests. Like they pay for the logistics, right? They fund and facilitate. They're not really doing that for Donald Trump. Sure, they're going on television. Like people in positions of power within the Republican Party will always go on national television and say, you know, of course he pled not guilty. You guys are crazy. That's not surprising. The hogs are insane. They're hogging. Terrence K. Williams says, please pray for President Trump's safety. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. Former President Trump is being arrested on April 4th, 2023. That has 10,000 likes. These people are so fucking insanely unhinged, okay? And it's awesome. Now, listen, that stuff's great. But one thing I want to tell you, one thing I want to point out here is, you asked, is there going to be a January 6th style situation? The reason why I don't think it's going to happen is twofold. One, because January 6th already happened, and for the first time ever, a lot of these like HVAC business owners and the like saw consequences, punitive consequences from a criminal justice system that they thought prior was on their side and would never actually hold them accountable. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, the institutional control, the institutional Republican Party that otherwise backed Donald Trump when he was the president, backed Donald Trump after he won the primaries, they did not lend support. They are currently not lending as much support to Donald Trump because they want to see this through. They want to see what fucking happens to him. Okay? So both of those circumstances together lead to much less people out there willing to do crazy shit. Okay? The reactionary petite bourgeois no longer find themselves to be as infallible or as powerful in the eyes of the law. They now know that they can get held accountable for like going crazy. Some of them fucking died because of COVID. That's another part that we shouldn't forget. There's also that as well. A lot of people died due to COVID. That's another issue that we are not really calling into consideration. But basically, I think the lack of astroturfing surrounding like protests is the reason why you see counter-protesters, is the reason why you see many more counter-protesters who are there on their own volition than actual protesters, like Trump supporters.
And so the normal kind of, rah-rah rally bravado that you would see.
99% survival rate, ... Yeah, I know. 99% survival rate, except, that 1% is just all hogs, I guess. Like, more than 1 million people died of COVID, brother. That's a big dent. That's huge. That's a huge number of people. Especially when you factor in how many of them were, anti-vaxxers. What do you mean by AstroTurf? AstroTurf is the opposite of grassroots. Grassroots movements are movements created by individuals on the ground that on their own volition, whereas AstroTurf movements are basically created by people, paid protesters. You know what I mean? AstroTurfing is what Republicans accuse Soros of doing all the time. Exactly. Which, by the way, George Soros does pay for protests, for sure. Just like every other fucking organization does. George Soros is a liberal. He has, interests.